Hello friends, in this Node.js video tutorial, we will show you how to fetch data from MySQL Database and display on the web page in HTML format under Node.js CRUD application. In this tutorial, all data will be displayed in the HTML table in the proper format. So here, in this part, we will show you step-by-step process for display data from MySQL Database. So in this part, first we will show you MySQL table structure. Next, we will create a route for fetch data in sample data.js file. After this, we will create one HTML template file for display data. And lastly, we will run Node.js application for display data in the HTML table. Now let's start discussing this topic. So before learn, please check our previous part. Because in previous part, we have already discussed how to install Node Express application. After this, we have make database connection file and put under JavaScript file. And we have also discussed how to load root into root app.js file. So if you not seen previous part, so please watch that part first. And one more things, we have also put source code download link under this video description also. Now let's start discussing this topic. So this are testing database. And under this, we have one sample data table with 5 table column like it, first name, last name, age and gender. So we will fetch data from this table and display on the web page in HTML table format. After this, we have go to text editor, and first we have to open sample data.js file. And here, we can see that database connection file is already included under this file. Now under this file, we have to write router variable.get function with 2 parameter, and in the first parameter, we have to write root, so here, we have write slash. And in second parameter, we have to write callback function with 3 parameter like request, response and next variable. Under this function, we have to write query variable is equal to select star from sample data table, order by it in descending order. So here, we have write select query for fetch data from MySQL table. Now below this, we have to write database variable.query function with 2 parameter, and in first parameter, we have to write SQL query. So here, we have to write query variable, and in second parameter, we have to write callback function with 2 parameter like error and data variable. Under this function, we have to write if statement. And under condition, we have to write error variable, so this condition will check. If there is any error occurs, then it will execute if block of code. And under this block, we have to write throw error variable. So it will display MySQL database error on the web page. But suppose there is no any error has been occurs, then it will execute else block of code. And under this block, we have to write response.render function with 2 parameter, so here this function is used to render a view and sends the rendered HTML string to the client. Under this function, first parameter, we have to write views file name. So here we have to write sample data, and this file we have already created in the views folder. And in the second parameter, we have to define data, which we want sent to views file. So here we have to define data in JSON string format. So in first data, we have title data with value like Node.js MySQL CRUD application. In second data, we have to write action key with value like list. And in third data, we have to write sample data, and in value, we have to write data. So here, in sample data, we have sent data, which it has been fetched from MySQL table. Now we have go to view directory, and open sample data.js template file. Under this file, here we can see that we have already included Bootstrap library link. Now under this file, first we want to print value of title variable. So here, we have to write open and close node quote syntax. And between this for print data, here we have to write is equal to sign. This sign has been used for print value of data on the web page. And after this, we have to write title variable. So it will display title variable value on the web page. Now here, we have to write node code expression. And between, we have to write if statement, and under condition, we have to write action variable value is equal to add. If this condition true, then it will execute if block of code. And under this block, we will create form for add data. But here, we want to display MySQL data in HTML table format. Then here, we have again write node code expression. And here, we have to create else block. So under this block, we will display MySQL table data. So here, under this block, we have paste bootstrap 5 card code. After this, we have create one HTML table with 5 table column like first name, last name, age, gender and action, and here in action table column. We will make edit and delete button in the upcoming video tutorial. Now we need to display MySQL database data in the HTML table format. So here, we have to write node code expression. And between this, we have to write if statement, and under condition, we have to write sample data.length value is greater than 0, so if this condition false, then it will execute else block of code. So here we have to write node code expression. And after this, we have to create else block. And under this block, we have to create one table row. And after this, we have to create one table data tag with call span attribute value is equal to 5. And between this, we have to write message like no data found. But suppose above condition true, then it will execute if block of code. And under this block for fetch data from sample data variable. So here, we have to write sample data variable dot for each function, with one parameter like callback function, with parameter like data. So this function will fetch data from sample data variable, which we can access from this data variable. Now for print HTML data, here we have to close node code expression. And between this, we have to create one table row with 5 table data tag. In first table column, we want to display first name table column data. So here, we have to write data.firstName variable. Here we have to use this is equal to sign for display data on the web page. In the second table column, we want to display last name table column data. So here, we have to write data.lastName variable. In third table column, we want to display age MySQL table column data. So here, we have to write data.age variable. In fourth table column, we want to display gender MySQL table column data. So here, we have to write data.gender variable. So on every loop, it will display sample data, MySQL table data, on the web page, in HTML table format. So here our code is ready. Now we have to check output in the browser. So for this, we have go to command prompt, and go into node application directory. And after this, we have to run this command, so this command will start Node.js server. Now here in the browser, we have to write localhost with 3000 port/sample data. So here, on the web page, we can see that one HTML table has been displayed on the web page, with message like no data found. This is because there is no data in MySQL table. Now here in MySQL table, we have to insert one data under sample data table. After inserting of data, now we have go to browser. And here we have to refresh web page, and after refresh of web page, here we can see that one data has been displayed on the web page, which we have insert. So this way, we can fetch data from MySQL table, and display on the web page. in the HTML table format, and under this Node Express.js application. In next part, we will learn how to insert data into MySQL table under this Node Express application, so we will be meet in the next part. Lastly, thank you for watching this tutorial, and do not forget to subscribe our channel.